Literature.
Yes, what's in literature? Do you remember what we took previous time?
For Kennedy?
Yes,
The Berlin Wall.
Kennedy. Where was Kennedy?
He was in Germany, in Berlin.
Germany. At what? He gave a speech at what? About the border between the two Germany, that split the Germany into two parts. Which is called what? Berlin Wall. Yes. So previous time we discussed John F. Kennedy's speech at Berlin Wall. Okay, and it was at the time when East Berlin was separated with then West Berlin by a concrete wall. Okay, to divide the communist country, or the communist government, and the capitalism government. Okay, when John F. Kennedy went there and he gave this speech, a few years later, or maybe 1 year later after that, the Soviet Union allowed its citizens to cross the gates to West Berlin, and they were, like before, free to go and leave and that. So what happened? What happened after John F. Kennedy gave this speech? And I will show you. Remember previous time we said that John F. Kennedy got assassinated? Yes. Okay, and killed? Yes. Okay. I'll share for you now the PowerPoint and show you what happened later. Here is it. Okay. So again, we said John F. Kennedy was a president 1960. Okay. And then in 1963, after he spent 3 years of presidency, he was assassinated. Okay, so the Berlin War, after World War II, came to an end, 1945, and they separated Germany. They split Germany between the communists and the capitalists. Okay, before I continue, there is something I want to remind you that East Berliner or West Berliner were allowed to go to the other side by checkpoints. These are gates, checkpoints. Okay, this is one gate that you have to pass by the police in order to let you enter, and there were 3 main checkpoints. Okay, so Kennedy gave this speech and he ended it with the famous sentence when he said, "I am a Berliner." Okay, ich bin ein Berliner. And okay, 1989, okay, the wall came to an end, the fall of the wall. Okay, so approximately how many years Germany was split into 2 parts? Guys. So first, before we forget, open your book, page 327, please.
Okay, Miss, didn't we finish this?
Yes, we finished this, but we will take, we finished actually the first read of the excerpt is divided into 2 excerpts, 2 speech. We took Kennedy's, and now we will take the new one. Okay, so it is as the fall of the wall of Berlin, 1918. Okay, then what is remarks from the Brandenburg Gate? So this is our second excerpt. Remarks from the Brandenburg Gate. As we said again, the gates were the checkpoints where the Berliners used to cross in order to go from this side to the other side. Okay.
Miss, why did we open page 327?
What?
Why did we open page 327?
I'm sorry, open 329. Turn the page.
Okay, yes.
So on June 12 June 1987. Okay, 1987.
Okay.
So it was what? Before the fall of the wall. Before the fall of the wall. The speech of Lincoln
Miss,
Kennedy.
which war?
That's wall.
Ah, wall. Okay.
The speech of Kennedy was 1963 or 1962, before his death, 1960. And now we talk about 1987. So like around 25 years after John Kennedy's speech at the Berlin Wall. 1987, President Ronald Regan. This is the president. Here is his picture. This is Ronald Reagan. Okay, he was the president number 40. John F. Kennedy was the 35th. Okay, he served 2 terms. 2 terms, it means 4 years and 4 years. And this is the maximum time for a president to stay in the United States. 2 periods only. 1 term is 4 years. He served from 1981 to 1989. The wall fell at 1989. So before the end of his time at 1987, he went to the wall again. So this was the second famous speech at the wall. But there he stood at Brandenburg Gate. Brandenburg Gate is a gate, one gate of the 3 checkpoints. This gate separated East Berlin from West Berlin and symbolized communist oppression. It was 12-foot concrete wall.
U.S. president?
Yes, he is a U.S. president. Ronald Reagan.
Why was he the one who did the speech?
Why he gave a speech?
Yes.
Because at that time Germany was divided between the communists and United States, Britain and France, remember?
Yes.
So he went to give this speech, okay, to talk to the other side, the communist side. This was before the wall falls, 1987, and the wall fell at 1989. Kennedy's speech was 1963 or 62. 25 years before Reagan, 25 years. Okay?
Yes.
Ronald Reagan, before he becomes a president, here when he was a president, he was an actor. Before he becomes a politician, Reagan was an actor and president of the Screen Actor Guild. This is Reagan when he was acting. Shortly after taking office in 1981, as we said, he stayed in the presidency for 2 terms. At 1981, shortly after he became a president, an assassination attempt was made to him on Reagan's life.
But why they are all killed? What the killer was thinking?
They want to get rid of the president, so they.
It's usually the communists who do this.
What communists? How they do this?
The communists usually don't like the president, so they plan their assassinations.
Yes, you say the communists, they planned their assassination, his assassination?
Yes, also John F. Kennedy, his assassination was planned by communists.
Maybe, because at that time...
Aren't there communistly people that hated, that want slaves? ولا لا?
Communists are people who what?
Who want slaves, when we talked about them.
No, slaves, slavery ended long time ago before that. What is communist?
Yeah.
You want to know what is communist? I explained it previous time. Listen. We have, let me stop sharing it because I will share. Look at me, guys. We have economic systems. Economic system is the system for the country. Each country has its own economic system. What is economic system? Economic system, we have a government, you know, the government, how
Yes.
the government interferes in people's life. How the government interferes in people's
They
life.
give laws.
I will tell you.
Okay.
We have one of the economic systems is capitalism. Capitalism, what is capitalism? Capitalism is what happens in the United States. You, as a child, you can go to a public school. Then, okay, you finish school. When you want to go to college, you have to study well, you have to pay fees, you have to pay, okay? After you finish, you take your CV and you go to apply for job, okay? A company will accept you, another company will not accept you. It's up to your CV. It's up to your qualities. This is capitalism. Capitalism is when the person or the citizen is free to do whatever he wants. But on the same time, the government will not support you with everything, will not give you all your needs. If you can't afford life, they will give you just help. They will give you money for charity, not because you are a citizen. It's for charity. This is so if you work, you gain money. If you do not work, you are homeless, for example, in the United States. Okay, you don't have insurance, medical insurance. You don't have education. You don't get anything. If you cannot support, you cannot afford it. You don't get it. You cannot afford it. You don't get it. The capitalism. This is capitalism. Capitalism is an economic system. The system of how the country deals. This is a system.
Okay.
Because you haven't heard a lot about communism, you haven't seen it, you haven't heard about it. Communism was an idea. It was an idea. A man whose name is, not only one man, actually, there was Karl Marx. Okay, Karl Marx is the main one who invented this idea. He said the government, in order to help the workers, workers, in order to help the workers, no one can own a company. So I cannot wake up in the morning. I can wake now, if we live in the United States, I can wake up in the morning. If I have $1 million, I can open a firm, I can hire workers, and I can gain money. I can be wealthy. This happens in the United States. What happens in Soviet Union? No, you cannot open your own firm. Everything is owned by the government. So the government owns everything. So the government gives you a public school. You go to the school, and then the government gives you the faculties. So you get the school and you join the college. And after you join college, the faculty decides where would you work. So you do not take your CV. No, the government decides. It takes you to put you into a firm. Who owns the firm? The government too. Then if you get sick, it
So
takes
everything is revolving around the government.
Yes, if you get sick, it takes you to public hospital. Okay, if you want to live, it gives you a flat where the same shape of building, the same building, same flat. You are not free. Okay, if you leave work, you'll not find another work because all jobs are owned by the government, not private owners. So, for example, if you do not want to work in this school, I want to work in another school. All schools are with the government. I can leave school and go to another school, but by sending a letter, and then they have to sign the letter and accept the letter and assign me into another school.
There is no private things. There is no private schools, private hospitals.
Very, very limited. Very limited. Yani, we can say that at the beginning and the prosper time of communism, no one gained anything.
And that's in the Soviet Union only.
No countries are communist nowadays, yes?
Actually, Because, as I said to you, because the United States was as powerful as the Soviet Union, and there was a war between them, Cold War, not a direct war. Soviet Union adopted the communism system. The communism system spread around the world. So in Germany, it was divided into two parts, and in Vietnam, remember the Vietnam War. United States went to Vietnam, and they why they went to Vietnam? They went to Vietnam to stop the communism spread, because Vietnam also was divided into two parts, communism and capitalism. So the United States traveled there, and it sent their troops there in Vietnam to stop the communism spread, because communism spread into many countries. It even reached to our Arab countries. Okay, there was a president at not of course my time, like at the time of spread of communism around the 60s. Okay, and there came a president, and he said, what, no one will own private property. No one will own private property. So what did he took? What did he do? He went to the wealthy farm owners, because Egypt is a fertile soil, has a fertile soil. So people used to plant. They have rich people. They have a farm, a very big farm, and they have workers there. Okay, who plant the farm, and then the owners of the farms, they used to live in palaces, and they used to be very wealthy. He took their money. He took these people money. He took this money, and he took the land and separated the land, split, and they gave it to the poor people. Okay, so this
but
is
it's not fair, right?
Yes, it's not fair, of course, in my opinion. But others might say, yes, he is the protector of poor people. He protected them. He gave them lands, and but it actually
Yes,
for example,
you can't protect people from other people's work. Yani. If they
yes,
want to help, they help. If they don't, they don't.
yes, this is what we do. This is an idea of communism. This is communism, that you do not own your stuff. No, the government owns it. There were shops like, for how can I say, like Lulu, Lulu, or L'Otham. It is not for a private, like not the Lulu, no, city center, for example, Center Point. I'm sorry, Center Point. Someone owns Center Point. He took it and he gave it to the government. You do not own it anymore. It's the government. The government will hire people there. The government will decide what is sold in this place. It was called Omar Effendi and Sidnawi, and these were very big shops like Center Point, with a high standard level of cloth and everything. And then he took it to the government. Okay, so why I took you to this side, just to show you how the government interferes. How the government interferes in everything is communism. Communism is not spreading nowadays. It approved its failure. It approved its failure. That's why John F. Kennedy in his speech said, if people say that the communism is a good economic system, come to Berlin. If people say that the communists are easy people to deal with, come to Berlin. Come to Berlin and see what they do. What is that wall? At least we do not lock our people or our citizens in order not to flee from our rule. He made the country as a prison.
Yes, it was just they treated people like robots, or just like we can say even slaves. Yani they all are the same. Everyone's the same.
Yes, but it is communism is a lot more than slaves. Actually, it was made to protect the poor. That you cannot be wealthy and this man cannot be poor in the same time. Both of you will be poor. They wanted both of them. They wanted both of them to be in a good level of life, but actually, after years, both of them became poor. There is a series of Chernobyl. I don't know if you have heard about Chernobyl or not. Chernobyl is a country in the Soviet Union. It is a very small town, not country, sorry. A very small town. It's called the Chernobyl. It has a wonderful series of around 8 episodes about Chernobyl. At the Soviet Union was so powerful at that time because all the they focused on education and the nuclear weapons and nuclear machines and this and they established or they built this nuclear, how can I say, I can say, I don't know what is the nuclear this is a very big firm for all the nuclear stuff. And then a problem happened in a trial. They were trying something and a problem happened, and this lab exploded. Something happened in this nuclear, I don't know its specific names actually. Until now, Chernobyl, no one can enter the town. They took the people out of the town. They told them that we will just go for a week. Until now, no one can enter this part because it has nuclear. How can I say these small parts?
Radiations, nuclear.
Not radiation. These small parts that ions. I don't remember its names. Ions.
Yes,
Ions. It has a nuclear ions, and the ions is what forms the oxygen and the air, right? Elements. What the component of air
atoms.
is what?
Atoms.
And yes, these all of them are nuclear, so they burn the body and they burn the inner parts of the body. So this is a real story.
Acids.
Yes.
They have acids, كمان.
Yes, yes, nuclear. So everything is burned and everything is.
Yeah.
It happened at the time in the Soviet Union, and the main reason behind it was the communism system. That the government controls everything. They couldn't take a decision without an order from the government. So the delay, the reason of being late, to save the problem, they waited for a sign from the manager, and a manager waits for the manager, and his manager the boss waited for his boss, and they waited, and because of that delay, it made it worse. So the town till now they cannot enter. So this is one of the miseries of the communism system. So John F. Kennedy, in his speech, he said, if you support the communism, come to Berlin. If you want to see what communists do or make, come to Berlin. Today,
Miss, can you tell us the name of the city again?
Chernobyl.
How much can we write it?
I will show you. I will show you in order to watch it because it's very useful. But before, because we took. We made a big discussion today. We were talking about Ronald Reagan and that he stayed 2 terms in presidency. He was the 14th president. He was, let me share this. President Reagan got a shot. He got a shot in his body, but he survived it. He didn't die. Okay.
So Messi wasn't killed. He was
no, he survived. He finished his 2 terms. This is Chernobyl, girls. This is the series I'm telling you.
Well, look how good we did. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that to them, justice was done. See, a just...
This small parts of the year after the explosion of the nuclear, I don't know what is it called, killed them.
World is a sane world. There was nothing sane about Chernobyl.
I'm pleased to report that the situation in Chernobyl is stable. In terms of radiation, I'm told it's the equivalent of a chest X-ray.
No, Chernobyl is on fire. And every atom of uranium is like a bullet, penetrating everything in its path. Metal, concrete, flesh. Now Chernobyl holds over 3 trillion of these bullets. Some of them will not stop firing for 50,000 years.
Tell me how to put it out.
You are dealing with something that has never occurred on this planet before.
Cut the phone lines. Contain the spread of misinformation.
What will happen to our boys?
The pain is unimaginable. In 3 days to 3 weeks, you're dead.
You can see him, and you cannot touch him. Do you understand? What happened on the night of the accident?
Asking the right question will give you the truth. There is no truth.
What happened then? What happened after? All of it. All of it. Madness.
Has this happened in real life?
Yes, it happened in real life until now. If you let's look.
Oh my God.
You go there to Chernobyl, you can, they make like trips to Chernobyl. They make trips that you can put on special trucks, special custom, and you go visit there. You go visit it there. There were like let me remember, what was it? Chernobyl explosion. This is the real one. This is in 1986. 1986 Chernobyl, 1989 the fall of the Berlin Wall. Communism is into its end.
On the 26th of April, in his diary, that the protective sky spreading large amounts of the country to find out about the accident when it detected unusual levels of radioactivity coming from the east to
the radium rays killed everyone. It, as you saw now in the trail, it penetrates the body. It penetrates. It's like a bullet.
There was uranium atoms and radiation.
Yes. They penetrate your cloth, they penetrate your organs, they penetrate everything. So it killed lots of people actually until now. Even people cannot, after they evacuated the town, they killed the animals, because if the animal give birth to new babies, they will have these atomic radiation.
They will be mutated.
Yes, these are journeys inside Chernobyl. This was a disaster of the communist system in the Soviet Union.
Which, when it's finished,
so
maintenance.
They lived down and never went back.
This could be a theater.
Buildings, everything. It's very a famous accident, and the movie or the series is 8 episodes. If you are interested, if you are really interested in chemistry, you'd like it a lot. Okay, so
it's called the accident of Chernobyl.
No, it's called Chernobyl. That I showed you.
Chernobyl. Okay.
Chernobyl. Okay, so we were talking about Reagan, and we said Reagan was the 40th American president, and Reagan was shot, but he didn't die. And then let me share it again. And then but he didn't die, okay? Okay. During his presidency, Reagan worked to curb inflation. Inflation is the increasement of the any problem, economical problem, and the increased employment in the U.S. He negotiated a treaty with the Soviet Union. Here is it. Here is the most important part. Negotiated a treaty, peace with the Soviet Union that would eliminate intermediate range nuclear missiles and strove to achieve peace through strength in the U.S. foreign policy. Countries, each country wants to show its power. So the Soviet Union showed its power with nuclear weapons, nuclear missiles, nuclear equipment, the nuclear system, the nuclear field. And then came the misery of Chernobyl. Okay, so why United States feared the Soviet Union? Because of its nuclear weapons. Because as you saw now in just the air of any nuclear weapon like Hiroshima, what happened in Hiroshima, it was a nuclear bomb. It was a bomb only, not an a whole.
But now it's banned, right? Like globally banned, the nuclear equipments from being used.
It is banned, yes, it is banned because actually the bomb of Hiroshima, it was a disaster also, it was a misery. And they use this nuclear weapon, countries use this, the threat of nuclear weapons or the danger of nuclear weapons to threat each other. To show its power, they use the nuclear weapons. So United States feared the Soviet Union because it's a nuclear power. Okay,
so were the Soviet Union the first people who were to use nuclear weapons?
Again, where is what?
Were the Soviet Unions the first one to use nuclear weapons?
The first one to use the nuclear weapon was United States in Hiroshima in World War II.
I know, but so why did they fear them if they were the ones who?
Because the Soviet Union had the most powerful weapon. That's what I told you 5 minutes before. The communist system focuses on its citizens. The citizens in Soviet Union cannot leave the Soviet Union, so they study. So it had brilliant professors, doctors, specialists in every field. Okay, and they were very sincere and how can I say it? Very sincere to the Soviet Union, and they were very hardworking. They were like machines. Okay, so they focused on the field of studying. They went at that time when it was the idea of traveling to the moon, traveling to space. Soviet Union was #1. You know what? I'll tell you a funny story. At the time when Soviet Union, because Soviet Union was one country, so it is one country, and they sent spaceships to the space. Okay, when the Soviet Union was split into countries, there was a spaceship in the space, and he stayed there for six months with no supply. Why? And it is kind of, when we want to make fun about it, they forgot him there in the space. Why? Because the country was one, and then it was split into many countries. So which country will send him? Which country? Before it was one country. And this rocket or this missile, this spaceship, as we can say, because it swims in the space, it belongs to the Soviet Union. Now there is no Soviet Union. There is no Soviet Union. So what can they do?
Masasa, what did they? Is it true, the story, Kaman?
Yes, it is true. Yeah,
but what did they do with the?
After 6 months, they agreed together to bring him back.
Oh my God.
Yes, so there were United States and Soviet Union. Which one? What was the first one to reach there? It was Soviet Union. They even doubt that the United States had reached to the moon, and they say that they lie. There are people who say that the United States hadn't make it to the
Yes,
moon.
until now, by the way, there are people that say that NASA is all a lie.
Yes.
And they didn't go to the moon or to the space.
Yes, but Soviet Union was #1 power. They went to the space. They went to they had the nuclear weapons. At that time, it was so powerful. Okay, the problem is, as I am telling you, the problem is it had many problems. That the Chernobyl, #2, the fall of Berlin. Then, as I told you, when they conquered Afghanistan, many reasons were the reason for the collapse of the communist system and the split of Soviet Union. So Reagan went to Berlin. He stood there at the gate in order to make a peace treaty with the communists. Okay, we will take 2 minutes or 5 minutes break to join the second period, girls.
Okay, bye.
Bye, don't be late.
Okay.